What are some cool things that were never mentioned in the book, The Game?
Whew, now I have to think back to when I read the book, The Game. What uh, crazy things were in fact written about. Ablaze, you had read the Game recently. Do you recall if there was a story about Courtney Love running out into my boot camp from her room through the living room through my boot camp where I had a gathering of students with me, and she ran into my bedroom topless?
Oh man, was that in the game? I did reread the
I'm not
game
sure.
because I reread the game while I was working on my book, and I don't recall that part. But you know what I do remember? You have a cool Courtney Love story about her giving you one of Kurt Cobain's T-shirts.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was not in the game, I don't think.
that
That's a cool
is that
story.
is an interesting story, certainly. Courtney had come home with a stack of Kurt Cobain's clothing, and she handed it to me, and she didn't know what to do with it. So I placed it underneath a small table that was in the living room, and there it stayed for months. We just placed it under, and being a magician, I knew that no one's going to touch it. No one is going to think anything special about this pile you know, of nicely folded clothing underneath the table. And we had boot camps and parties at Project Hollywood where this pile was underneath the table, and no one touched them and no one knew. Many people didn't know that she was living with us at the time because she was just hiding out. She was in a stressed situation, and we gave her a place to disappear to, you know, even though there was a household filled with really nice guys, really nice pickup artist guys. You got to turn the pickup artist when you need them on and then turn it off when you don't need it. Well, these guys were good guys, and nobody hit on her for the whole time that she stayed with us. Nobody, made moves on her. Uh, eh, just to finish up the story of what happened when she ran out, one of the students saw Courtney Love running out, half naked into my bedroom and slams the door into my bedroom. And he turns to the others and says, "Was that Courtney Love?" And we just went, "Yeah, welcome to Hollywood." I thought that was fun.
It's pretty
She was a
funny.
very, very, very fun rock star. She's a rock star. In her mind, she's a rock star. Here's something that was interesting. One of the things she would do is if people would interrupt her, instead of stopping her train of thought and waiting for the interrupt to take place, like many people do, all she would do is talk louder until you shut up, and then she would quiet down again, but she would continue her sentence. That is a way of handling an interrupt. An interrupt can happen when you're in field, you're in a three set, and a fourth person comes in, right? Maybe to take the girls you're talking to away, and you have to disarm the interrupt. So one way you can do that is by simply doing the Courtney Love gambit and talk over them like a rock star does. It's bold, it's brazen, and it shuts people up and gets people back to your frame. That was a
Mhm.
learning lesson.
And that's pretty unexpected, so that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of that table, was it a glass table so you could like at least see the clothes? Because I remember
No,
Neil
no,
had that coffee table with phone numbers or something.
that's right. That was the coffee table. It was covered with blackboard spray paint. So it was like a blackboard, pre-chalked, and girls would come over and draw, little drawings of flowers and whatnot, as I recall, on the tabletop. And no one cared to note that underneath was Kurt Cobain's clothing.
Hmm,
Yeah.
crazy.